Welcome to Chrisley Confessions. I'm Todd.
And Julie.
And Julie is bouncing on my last nerve this morning because she, folks, and I'm just going to jump right into this on how hypocritical she is towards certain things. You have chastised everyone in the family about proper phone etiquette.
Okay.
Did you lose that when you went to Kentucky?
No.
Because you were just on your phone when Aaron was saying time is money. We need Julie to get off the phone. Todd, it's disrespectful of your time for her to be treating you like this.
Okay, well, she actually didn't say
well,
that.
Well, I read it on her mind. She wanted to say
I am so sorry, Aaron. I would never want to offend you, ever.
And, folks, about 3 weeks ago, I'm laying in the bed, and she... Well, I don't know, because this morning when I woke up, you was over there listening to your things on Instagram and whatever. Julie, how did you hear that? It's on number one at best.
No. I'm going to let you go. It does not matter. Okay, folks, this is the thing.
And y'all talk about me interrupting her.
No, this is the thing. Okay.
Now, I'm going to tell it all. I'm laying in the bed, 7 o'clock in the morning. It's on the lowest level you can get it, and I'm listening to stuff.
He can't hear very well.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, I can hear on number one.
It's not one.
And I don't want you doing that. I mean, it's so disrespectful.
It is.
Folks, not a day later, she's over there laying beside me, and she clicks on her thing, and it is at the loudest level you could get it.
Okay, listen, you're right. It was.
Okay.
But the difference being, yours is intentional. You're intentionally listening to something wide ass open.
It's not wide open.
And because I had been listening to a podcast earlier, it's what made my volume up. So I apologized, and I said, I'm sorry, Todd. Uh-huh. You do it every day.
Let me ask you something.
Not just
Is that the only time you've done it since then?
No, but it's...
So are you saying you listen to podcasts all day, every day long?
I do listen to podcasts a lot when I'm in the car by myself. Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying to you is, mine was not intentional. Yes, I did it, but it was not intentional.
I think
this is my thing. Todd watches way more television than I watch because I'm always up doing in the house,
she wants
cleaning, or I'm in the grocery store, I'm whatever.
You want to be in the road. You want to be in the road.
That's not true. But anyway, what was I doing last night? I was mopping the floors. So anyway,
Cinderella, give it a rest.
That's beside the point. But what I'm saying is, I don't watch a lot of television. Todd and I do not watch like series together because.
Tell them why.
Because Todd watches more television. He's upstairs way more than I am to be able to watch it. And then when I finally do come to watch it, I'm tired, so I fall asleep. That's something that's been that way for 30 years. That's not changing.
But why do you get mad?
Because when other people are like, I see other people on Instagram and they're like, okay, yeah, we're going to watch our show tonight. Mm-hmm. And they're like mindful of each other. Like, okay, when we both get there, then we'll watch the show. And I get it. It doesn't work for us. It's just something that does not work for us.
It don't work for those men that's posting that shit on Instagram either. Because no man has got a wife that is going to sit there and watch Landman from season 1 all the way to the current episode.
No, honey, because we're not afforded that luxury. You know, we've got children that have to be dealt with. We got dinner that has to be cooked. We got laundry that has to be done. We got
I'm doing some of those things. I'm actually doing some of those things.
But what I'm saying is, you know, there are some people who will be like, you know what? I'm going to wait for my wife to get up here to watch that next episode, and then we're going to watch an episode or two, and that's it. No, you want to watch a whole season for 16 hours. Which is the whole
concept of streaming.
No, but when you have a partner to watch it with,
when you have a partner that can stay awake, that's not a narcoleptic.
Listen, it's just not meant for us to watch TV shows together, and that's okay.
And here's I'm so sick of her and her victim mentality, because that is just not the case. Who wants to buddy up with somebody who can't finish anything? You're not going to pick her to run a race. I'm not going to pick you to watch a television series. You came up there the other night and forced me again to watch this Murdaugh Murders or some shit. And I don't know if she's trying to figure out where he screwed up so she doesn't with me. But
maybe
8 or 9 episodes you've done this.
I think it's 8.
How many have you completed?
I've completed every single one of them.
Lies, I tell you.
That's not true. I've watched every one of them. I've watched every single one of them.
How did it end?
I have watched every one of them.
I want you to tell me how it ended.
I can't remember exactly, but it's okay. I watched it. I know I did.
Lies, I tell you.
But it's okay. It's just, listen, it's just not meant for us to be television watching partners. That's okay.
And here's the thing. I watch zero reality television.
Right.
All of my stuff is going to be Yellowstone, Landman, Diplomat, Beast in Me or Beast Within Me or whatever it was with that hot girl. What's her name that on Diplomat?
Anyway, go ahead.
Kerry Russell's husband. Those are the shows that I'm going to watch. I'm not watching reality television. I don't watch The Housewives. I mean, even though one of my dearest friends was on there. But you just said to me the other night, folks, this is when she trapped me with the Murdaugh murder. She turns it on, and I look over maximum 10 minutes into it, and this is what I got.
Well, keep in mind, I get up at 5 o'clock.
She worked all day.
I get up at 5 o'clock, so it makes for a long day.
You get up at 5, then you get back in bed.
Right.
Then you run Chloe to school, then you come back and get back in bed.
Sometimes, but not always.
So at any rate, folks, typical 30-year relationship here. She gets in the bed the other night, and she goes, after this murders is over, I said, Julie, it's over. Well, we're not watching I'm not starting the Kardashians tonight because I'm not gonna be able to stay awake through it. Bitch, you didn't stay awake through Murdaugh murders or whatever it was.
Okay.
So I didn't get to find out what my girl Chloe's doing. So now I get to catch up on that.
You just said you don't watch that.
You know, it's the only thing that I watch with you that we can get through.
Well, I did. I watched it, so I can tell you what they did.
What did my girl do?
You know what? It was very sweet. Kim actually got a Bible. It was her daddy's Bible. It was like Robert Kardashian's Bible. It was engraved with his name on it. And he had given it to OJ back in the day and had written in it. And it was, which I think is so crappy that the estate did this. So, of course, OJ's estate was going to auction it off.
Why wouldn't they just give that back to his
them.
Daughters and son?
And so Kim had to win the auction, but she did it under an alias so they wouldn't know because
that's my girl.
Because they would have run. I'm sure they ran it up
numbers,
anyway.
right.
But she got it, and all along she thought that it was just a Bible that her dad had given to OJ, but it wasn't. It was her dad's Bible. Like it had his name engraved and everything on it. And he then wrote a little thing to OJ during that whole thing that went on. And so she got it and she gave it to Chloe.
See, now that's how it's supposed to be. My girl got it.
So sweet. But it was funny because they were in, this episode was around Easter. So they were out in Palm Springs. They were staying at Courtney's house. And Kim was like wanting her to, she was going to give it to her. But like she was talking, she was like, okay, let's, what's a Bible verse like that's appropriate for Easter or whatever? And Chloe's like, what are you doing? Like she was kind of being like snarky about it. And Kim's like, here I am trying to give her this Bible and she's being snarky. And then Chloe was like, oh my gosh. And so it was a sweet moment.
But that would make sense why it would go to Chloe.
Yeah.
Because Chloe is the most nurturing.
Well, but you know what? But they say that about Kim too. They say Kim has a real strong exterior, but that she's really a softie and that she's very thoughtful in her gift giving.
I believe that.
Like she gives really, really thoughtful gifts. This new year, nothing hits like home cooking. HelloFresh brings back the joy of the kitchen with recipes that feel good and taste delicious night after night. We are absolutely loving the crispy chicken Milanese. It is delicious, fresh, and healthy. HelloFresh also brings people together with meals that are simple and rewarding on a busy weeknight. Over 100 mouthwatering recipes each week. They have bigger portions so no one leaves the table hungry. I also love the fact that you have over 35 high-protein weekly recipes to choose from, including new Mediterranean and GLP-1 friendly options made with wholesome ingredients like sustainably sourced seafood and 100% antibiotic and hormone-free chicken. Because when dinner tastes this good, nothing hits like home cooking. Go to HelloFresh.com/Chrisley Confessions 10FM to get 10 free meals plus a free Zwilling knife valued at $144.99 on your third box. Offer valid while supplies last. Free meals applied at discount on first box. New subscribers only. Varies with plan.
I watched a thing the other day. It was probably on Instagram, where I could barely hear the volume.
Right. Probably.
But Chris was having to say what she had learned from each of her children.
Yeah, I think it was when she was on Chloe's podcast.
And I can't stand to see Chris cry. Mm-hmm. If Chris cries, Todd's cried. I can't stand to see her cry. But when she started crying, I felt that. Because as I've said to you about our kids, each one of them have given me something different than what the others have ever given.
Right.
And, Chris had her children, this was one section of her life. This was the next section. And, it just kept going. And she talked about her, that how friends of hers were having fertility issues. And here she was throwing off kids in her 40s.
Right.
And I listened to her speak. And if you just watch her face and her eyes when she talks about her kids, you see the love that she has there.
Yeah.
And I've learned so much just from watching in my whole life, my whole life of watching things, because I'm a visual learner. But when I watched that clip that was on Instagram, I thought everything she says is the truth.
Yeah.
Because I've learned something from each of our children.
Right.
And I'm at a phase in my life right now to where I learn, or maybe I'm just more open to learning and receiving, what's being put in front of me. Like the fact that you snore and that you don't finish an episode. But I'm learning to see that for what it is.
Yeah.
Narcoleptics it's a situation. But I feel like that with Chloe, Chloe has always, how I've always felt about her. I just look at her sometimes and because I am one of her biggest cheerleaders, because I just want her to succeed at every angle. And it's always because I feel like there's such a kindness about her. There's just such a kindness, and that you were watching that episode where Chloe has to go do this workout thing with Courtney, and Courtney tells her that what's the boxing thing? What's the training thing? It's a guy's name. Shit, I forget the guy's name.
But anyway, they were boxing.
Well, they weren't. They were going to another opening of this guy's gym there in LA or something. And Courtney comes up to Chloe, and Chloe's mumbling something. She goes, "It doesn't matter." Chloe says, you know what? He is the first person that hurt my feelings and called me fat. Something boot camp. Barry's boot camp. That's it. Barry's boot camp. She said, I still remember him saying that I was fat. So she remembered that all those years.
Right.
And Courtney goes, "It doesn't matter. He's dead anyway."
But he's not.
No, but Courtney did not know.
Right.
And she passes it along to Chloe, like, y'all do shit to me, and then I run with it thinking I can trust you.
Right.
So Chloe starts talking. She said, "Well, he's dead anyway." And, it was a little bit snarky. In the interview, the producer says, "Well, Barry's not dead." And she goes, "What?"
Yeah.
Wait a minute. He's not dead? And she gets on the phone and calls Courtney. It was such a Chrisley moment for something like that to happen.
Yeah.
But the way she handled it, and the way she handled that whole group text message, because you know how we are with these group text messages.
Yes.
And the way that, Courtney said, like she just checked out.
Yeah.
Because
it doesn't serve me. It doesn't bring me peace.
We have one of those that's all the time saying it doesn't serve her.
It doesn't bring me peace.
Right.
It interrupts my peace.
Right. And so Chloe's like, what the fuck? Who the hell has peace at this point?
Right.
But I love that she's so direct and out there with whatever it is.
She's just... Listen,
She's
you can say
real.
what you want to because, yes, the Kardashians lead this very larger than life and extravagant to the 10th degree.
Right.
But she's just real. Like,
Yes.
she's just real. Like, she's a real mom. She's a real sister. She's a real daughter. And I love that.
And I don't, like I said, I don't like for her to cry.
Right.
Chris just rips my soul out. I can't stand to see Chris cry. But
So, folks, he really does watch reality.
I watch it with you. That's the show that we watch.
Yeah.
And I don't like to see Kim cry. I don't like to see Kim cry.
Well, she used to ugly cry. She can ugly cry real good.
I don't like to see her cry. And Courtney, hell, I don't know if she's ever cried. I don't know if Courtney's ever cried.
Who knows?
There's a hat for every head.
Right.
And as Chris said, she learned something from each of her children.
Yes.
I have a new podcast coming out with Chase and Grayson and me. It's called Two Sons and Me. And so I'm really excited about that because it's going to I get to sit in a podcast format with two of my sons, and we get to talk about things that's going on in their generation compared to my generation. Because as you know, they sit and talk about there are no women out there like you when they're looking to date, when they're looking for someone like their mom, because that's what I always tell them. Find someone like your mother. And what is their favorite saying?
They
Doesn't exist. And I believe that there are many women out there like you that have raised daughters the way that they were raised. Right. So that's what I want Chase and Savannah. That's what I want Chase and Grayson to find. I want them to find a young woman that is committed to family, committed to faith, that wants to have children, that wants to take care of our sons the way that you've taken care of me and our children. That's what I want for my boys. And so I think it's going to be a great podcast where we can sit there and have other young men on and other men in general of all age groups.
Right.
Because I'd like to have someone that is 70 on there to talk about what their generation, what was going on in their generation.
Right.
So I want to be able to have a great group of guys on that's going to talk about what their plight is in dating today, or what it was like when you were dating, in the 80s or in the 70s, and to try to help the country and young men and women get back to the core of what made America great. Because what made America great was those generations before us.
Absolutely.
I just feel like that it's going to be a great podcast, to talk about all things guy that I think needs to be talked about. And from a dad's perspective, for them, because they're all the time saying, Dad, this is whatever.
Right.
And they're all the time having to tell me what these letters mean. And, well, Dad, you need to go do this. Prime example yesterday with Savannah trying to get me set up on Zoom.
Right.
And she tried to chastise us for not knowing what it was. And God stepped in and saved her feelings. She got me on Zoom, and she did get me on immediately, which was something you and I were taking the long way around to get to. She was able to, within 2 clicks, and I was up and running. So I'm excited about the new podcast with the boys. I'm excited for your cooking segments to start. And then our other big thing that's coming up that I can't talk about just yet, I'm excited about that.
Right.
And so I think that God has blessed us. This is our first Thanksgiving home in 28 months.
Yep.
And you have been in full swing. You have gone right back to where you left off. Folks, the kitchen counters are full. She's organizing everything for every item that she's making. So I'm excited.
That is a tip that I have. So, I had a menu. I put that menu out to Todd and to Savannah. And I was like, is there anything you'd like to add or that you think we don't need? And there was a couple things that Savannah actually added. And then I take each item and I see what I have in my pantry, what I need to add. And then I actually like have one counter and I put everything. So everything for my turkey is right here. And then like my macaroni and cheese is right here. My sweet potatoes are here. My broccoli salad's here. And it goes all the way down the line to the desserts. And it just helps me keep things organized so that, okay, once I make up whatever item it is, that goes off the list and it goes off the counter.
Speaking of the list, I have to bring up in real time what happened last night. So Julie was in the house all day. She wasn't leaving the house. You were getting things organized, cleaning up, getting stuff ready for Thanksgiving.
Right.
And then, of course, Savannah, who flew back from her receiving her award at Mar-a-Lago.
Yes.
Came back sick as usual because she had been traveling for a solid week. And every time she does that, she gets
really,
sick.
it's been I feel like she's been traveling for a month or more. Really.
Well, because she went on her trip. Yeah.
Back and forth and back and forth.
But she got sick doing that.
Yeah.
And so she came back sick. But once Savannah's remotely, if she's like 50% well, then she's back up and let's go.
Right.
Rather than going ahead and just resting and getting 100%. And she cannot sit still. So she comes over to create havoc with us because she needs her mama to go with her to do something. Where did y'all even go?
We had to go to At Home.
What?
Yeah, it's just a store. Savannah had to return some things. Some Christmas things.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to talk about that story too. Yeah. So then Julie is notorious for going to the grocery store and forgetting about 4 or 5 different things. And those 4 or 5 different things that she forgets was the 4 or 5 things she actually left to go buy. So you leave, they didn't have what you wanted or you forgot about it. So
no, that's not the truth.
Okay, well then
so the
go
truth
ahead and tell the story.
This is the whole story. I went with Savannah to At Home. Costco is right across the street. So I said, okay, we'll get this. Because you sent me some things on Instagram of some salads and some things you wanted for dinner. And you're like, here, now don't ask me what I want to eat. Here's a couple of recipes.
Because she's notorious for what do you want? And what do I always say?
He says it doesn't matter. But then if I say, okay, well, then I'm going to make this. Well, I really don't want that. So anyway, so he had sent me some recipes. And so, of course, I had already went food shopping for Thanksgiving, but I didn't pick up those particular items. So I said, okay, I'll go with Savannah to At Home, and then we'll go across the street to Costco. Went across the street to Costco, got what we needed, except for there was a few things at Publix. Well, Publix is right outside Costco. So went there. Savannah then says, Mom, I really want you to make this strawberry dessert thing. And so I needed some frozen strawberries in juice. They didn't have them at Publix. Mm-hmm. So that meant a Kroger run. But you then called, says, when are we going to eat? So I knew that was my key, that you were starting to get hungry. So then I said, Savannah, let's just go on home so that I can get dinner going. That's the real story. So there was a few items that I said, okay, you know what? I'll just have it delivered. I don't normally do that. I'm not a delivery kind of person. I shop at Amazon and but as far as like my real food, I like to go. I like to touch my food. I like to see it. I like to check the date on the milk. I like to look at my lettuce and make sure that it's fresh.
Fanatic.
I like to make sure that it's fresh and all the things, right? So I don't just normally have my stuff delivered. But last night I thought it was just a couple items, no problem, right? So I get home, cook dinner. We had a nice dinner. Savannah ate with us. And then I get a notification that Savannah's like, Mom, I want you to go ahead and make one of these desserts tonight, see if it's good. I said, okay, waiting on the strawberries. So I get a notification that it's been delivered, and there's a picture of the bags. There was 2 bags at the back door.
The side entrance, right?
Yeah. So I said, Savannah, I just got notification. The stuff's here. Go out there and get it. She walks out there and she said, Mama, it's not here. And I said, Savannah, right here's the picture. Like, there was the picture showing it was there. She's like, Mama, it's not here. So I walk out there. It wasn't there.
This only happens to us.
So I said, well, that's crazy. Savannah's like, well, then I'm going to notify them to tell them that the stuff's not, we got a picture, but it's not here. Mm-hmm. I'm like, that's the craziest thing. Like, who wants strawberry and those red apples that you like on the inside?
These are the greatest apples in the world, and she got me started on them 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so that's what it was. It was apples, it was the strawberries, and I think some Jell-O. That was it. That was all that it was. It wasn't there, even though the picture was there. So Savannah gets on there and she's like, Mom, you can like dispute it and say you didn't get it. So, all right. So we go through the whole thing, disputing it, whatever, right? Well, then I'm walking by the front door like 30 minutes later.
She walked to the front foyer, which takes her by the front door.
And the bags were at the front door.
After they'd already sent a picture of them being at the back door and after she had filed the dispute.
Right. So I was like, this is weird. Like, this really weird. So I get it. Well, half the stuff's missing. It was supposed to be 2 things of strawberries. It was only 1. It was supposed to be 2 things of Jell-O. It was only 1. Then Todd gets this like crazy. He's like, oh my God. Like, what if they've done something to those apples and they're not safe and like whatever. Like, I guess he thought like they contacted the driver and was like, these people are complaining because they didn't get their stuff.
Well, it's like when you go into a restaurant and then you're going through the drive-thru and you say
like Todd does. Hot fries, please.
I only go to one McDonald's on Old Hillsborough.
It's not Old Hillsborough.
What is it called?
Hillsborough Pike.
Hillsborough Pike, and they know what my order is, and so they will even say, yes, Mr. Chrisley, the fries will be hot.
Yeah.
But, Judah would always say, go ahead, you're going to get spit in them.
Yeah. Well, that's the way he would say. Yes. Can I hot fries, please?
I don't know that I said it exactly like that.
He did say it.
But every time you turn the TV on, there's some shit about fentanyl.
So he goes straight to they put fentanyl in these apples.
So Judah, I said, I don't think we should keep any of this stuff. I think you should throw it all away. And she goes, Todd, I said, I don't care. I said, what if it has fentanyl in it? And she goes, what?
But listen, then folks, listen to what he says. So if I go missing, I just want, on this podcast, Chrisley Confessions 2.0 today, if I go missing.
Folks, it was a joke.
I'm just saying.
She said, fentanyl or whatever the hell you say this stuff is. And I said, Julie, people's mailing this shit. They're doing stuff all the time. And she goes, Todd, there's no fentanyl. I said, then you take a bite of that apple. And if you don't start foaming at the mouth, then we can keep the apples. But if you start foaming at the mouth, I'm not going to try them. So, folks, she then takes now these apples are what I consider to be expensive. You only get 4. Anytime they're only giving you 4 in one bag, there's a problem. I grew up going to Long Creek Apple Orchard and I got a bushel. But at any rate, after I said that, you know what she does? Picks them up like that and drops them in the trash can.
Yeah.
So you was not 100% sure.
Obviously, he was game for me to try it.
I was not.
We don't have like Narcan at our house.
Now, do you first of all, you've never accused me of being dumb. You've never accused me of being stupid, right? No. So then if you do everything for me, wouldn't it make sense that a smart man would keep the person alive that does everything for it?
Yeah, so I'm not sure why you said go ahead and eat the apple.
Because you was insistent that it didn't have fentanyl on it. So I said,
this was almost taking me back. See, I feel like Adam and Eve. See, Adam was probably telling her, eat that apple, go ahead and eat that apple. It's probably reversed.
It was a woman who screwed it up from the beginning of time.
He probably said, no, baby, you go ahead and try it. And then if it's all right, then I'll take it.
Adam was walking the earth with his ding-a-ling swinging with no shame. Yeah. And then Eve comes along, eats the damn apple, and all of a sudden, Adam has to run and get a fig leaf to cover up his ding-a-ling. Before that, we was good with it swinging until y'all shamed us.
Oh, okay.
So that's where it comes from.
Okay. So now I guess he's still trying to pay me back, trying to get me to eat this apple infused with fentanyl that we don't even know what it is.
Me and you, Adam.
Oh, my gosh.
So that happened yesterday.
So I guess we've been just a little like
we've been having a lot of little shit to happen,
but just like just a little kind of fiery. I don't know, but you and I.
You really have. You've really been picking on me a lot.
Yeah. At this podcast, whatever, people will agree with me. Absolutely.
Oh, Jesus, take the wheel. So I wanted to address multiple things today. One, this whole gray divorce thing again. So many questions statements still coming in. There are so many reasons, and we talked about last week about this insurance and people's medical health and stuff, right?
Right, yeah.
Now, this one guy who's from Naples, Florida, sent me a message and said he and his wife have been married for 31 years. Second marriage for both. Mm-hmm. Both of them brought 2 children each into the marriage. He divorced his wife because he's obviously the one that had the money to begin with. He divorced his wife of 31 years so that her children so that he could make sure that his biological children got the bulk of his estate, and so the other 2 stepchildren could not lay claim to his estate.
That's crazy.
And so I went back to him and I said, so I'm curious, because the message is like 3 messages like this.
Go ahead, sorry.
And so I went back to him and I said, I'm just curious, where is your wife of 31 years? Oh, we're still together. They're still together. And because she would not agree to a property settlement from him while they were married, that would devoid her from any claims to his estate if he died before her, that's why he divorced.
So she's going to stay with him and take his money. I don't blame her. I'd stay with him and take it. I'd sweat his ass out. I would.
Glad to know that she's told how she operates.
I would. Because you've been married to somebody for 31 years and you're still scheming, trying to figure out not to give them something.
I don't think it's scheming because, and I'm not, first of all, I'm not running the risk of divorcing you and somebody else getting trapped with you.
Okay.
I want to look out for my fellow brothers out here.
Yeah, okay. Don't worry.
I'm taking a bullet for you.
Don't worry, because it would never happen again.
But at any rate, the reason, now he didn't say this in so many words, so I'm kind of putting this stuff together. Obviously, he doesn't have a great relationship with the 2 stepchildren.
Right.
Whose father is still living.
Right.
Whose father is he works for the union on the railroad or something.
Well, he just told all his business.
I've got it all in my thing right here.
All his business.
Yeah,
okay.
Their father, pipe fitter. He's a pipe fitter with the railroad.
Okay.
And he says, a good man. He says, but he obviously has not been as successful as this man has been.
Right.
But the 2 children, the 2 stepchildren, have remained very close with their father.
Right.
And have a good, healthy relationship with their father.
Yeah.
But to the point that the one daughter, he's got a stepdaughter, the one stepdaughter, anything he does for his biological children, even though she's not really close to him, she expects him to do for her.
Okay.
And I guess he just said, nah, I ain't doing that. You got a daddy. You make it clear you got a daddy. And this is my daughter. And what I do for her is my business. And they got married, Julie, when they was like 12 and 13 years old. So, I mean, these kids were almost grown when they got married. So at any rate, but the wife, I take it, was always doing a lot of things that wives do, even when there's not a broken or 2 families that have come together. Wives steal. It's just I have come to the conclusion that all wives steal. I literally have been robbed blind.
Yeah.
But I think that his wife, when he would do something for his daughter, she would turn around and do it for her daughter from his money, but he wouldn't know about it.
Right.
And so the wife was trying to tit for tat.
Yeah.
Whatever his kids got, she's going to make sure her kids
right.
got. Well, I don't agree with that because that's his money.
No, you've been married to somebody for 31 years. That's your money. That's the y'all's money. If you've been married to somebody for 31 years. No, I don't
No, I don't agree with
I
that
don't
because
agree with that.
he came into the marriage with the wealth.
It doesn't, 31 years? No.
My friend Roy, who lives in Naples,
I don't
who's
care
told me
about
all
Roy.
this, I trust Roy.
I don't care. Well, good. I'm glad you do. But if you've been married to somebody for 31 years and you're still, this is my money and this is, no.
No one said Roy said that.
No. Obviously he did because he's worried he's counting over here what his wife's spending.
He's worried about his kids getting what he worked for, which is the same with me. I am married to one of the biggest, nicest, kindest, sweetest.
Go ahead, because you've been lippy and really fiery in this podcast. So you better.
I have been married.
Tone it down.
I have done I have been with this woman.
Yeah.
We've been to prison together.
Right.
That tells you who we are. But I just don't think that Roy came into the marriage with wealth. Obviously, she didn't. She's lived a very good life, obviously, for 31 years. Mm-hmm. He paid for both of those his kids to go to school.
Did he just tell you everything?
He and I've been talking for 3 days. He put those 2 kids through college. He bought them their first vehicles.
Okay, so we get it. Roy did it.
But he didn't do the medical because the daddy had great insurance with the railroad or whatever.
Are you kidding me right
Yeah.
now? Okay, go ahead.
So my thing is that I just think Roy should be able to do with Roy's money what Roy wants to do. And if Roy wants his daughter and his son to have what he's worked for, they should have it. And the wife who was married to Roy, who's led a very good life, he said that she's led a wonderful life. And obviously so much so that she got according to Roy, she got a very fair and equitable divorce settlement.
So maybe she's using her money to do for her kids. That's her money.
This just happened in the last 12 months.
But this is her money at this point.
That's right. But going back to your point, which you seem to, in the past week, not be able to stay on track with certain things. You just said that she should stay with him and get everything she should get. Typical gold digger response. But what I'm saying to you is that they have now divorced. She got her settlement. If he was such a bad person, not a good provider, she's now got her own little pocket of money. Why didn't she move on?
Because she gonna keep her money and still spend his.
I told Roy, I said, y'all need to maintain separate bank accounts. And I said,
you need to keep your nose out of Roy's business.
Go Dutch at this point. If you're going out to dinner and she's got half of your money, get your half back by making her pay half.
Okay.
We're going to today for lunch.
No, I ain't going to lunch with you because you done been too. No, I
You're paying today.
No, and I ain't paying and I ain't even going. That's the case with this today, folks.
So I was going to tell you that came in. So I've been going back and forth with him about that gray divorce stuff that you set the world on fire with talking about. Then I wanted to address that I receive literally thousands of messages a day. If your loved one is incarcerated in state prison, that's not what I do. I deal with the federal system because that's where I was, that's where I cut my teeth, that's where I learned. So I can't help you at this present time. After the first of the year, I am touring several state facilities, and through the governor's office there and through the prison control, the people that control the prisons and all that in those states. So give me a little bit of time. You got to give me some time to get my feet wet as far as it comes to state prisons. Julie, you want to join us for this podcast?
I did. I'm listening to you. My son is picking up something that I had ordered in Birmingham to bring home, and he had a quick question.
Oh, I bet you that was Grayson that she stopped the podcast for. The one that is not her favorite.
That's not true. I'm not stopping your podcast. I was listening everything you said. I
can't help you right now, but after the first of the year, I will be cutting my teeth on state prisons. And I have to say this, if you come to me and you ask for help, I know that God says that we are to have a forgiving heart. and that to grant forgiveness, in order to be forgiven, you got to forgive. If you are a child molester, don't hit me up. Don't hit me up. And I don't feel like I'm going to help with that because you didn't ask me to forgive you. So therefore, it's not my job to forgive somebody who's not asked for it. Don't hit me up. Don't send me your reg number. Don't say that you've been cheated out of 6 months of this or whatever. Don't think you should be cheated out of anything. Think you need to be treated. In our country, you're supposed to be treated fairly. If I was the director of prisons and I was housing child molesters.
Well, they're not getting FSA anyway, right?
Yes, they do. The certain situations allows that. And a new provision that's in there that no one was adhering to is getting ready to start happening. And it actually is going to help men with gun charges and other things as well. So it's going to ultimately be left up to the wardens as to whether or not you can get that FSA.
That's kind of scary, though.
No, not under the director Billy Marshall and Josh Smith, because Josh Smith is riding that. And Josh has proven he's going to keep a firm hand on the wardens. He's going to make sure that if you're not submitting these people, I want to know why.
Right.
So, but just to go back to it, don't go to God, not Todd. If you're a child molester, go to God, not Todd.
I agree with that.
So I'm not going to help you. If you have physically assaulted a woman, go to God, not Todd.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to help you. And I don't want to waste my time with it. So I'm just being 100% upfront with you. I wanted to talk about that. Also wanted to just kind of touch on something that came to me last night, and I read it this morning, and it really was a very eye-opening statement. And it said that grace, you truly epitomize grace when you face a situation that doesn't remove you from your center. That when someone is provoking you or saying harmful things about you or telling mistruths or whatever, and you can respond in kindness, you have not been moved from your center. That is the epitome of grace.
I think it's growth too.
Yes.
It's hard. It's hard.
Yes.
Even like today, we've been bantering more than normal, like kind of going back at each other.
Well, but you've been itching for a fight. You get like that sometimes. And, and I have tried my best. I have tried.
Even the sound engineer over here is like, what in the world?
She's got this poor kid so shell-shocked. She does it to me. I understand why he's this way. But I'm trying to show more grace in my life, especially in my marriage. And when you've led a life of 31 years almost and been abused.
Todd, don't even say that on here for people to think.
Okay, well.
They know that's not true.
Y'all know that I'm kidding.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, I do think that you have to get to a place. And I really feel like in my heart, in my soul, in my spirit, that I am on that path. I really do. You have to get to a place to where someone else's version of events may not be your version of events, but they may need that to be their version of events in order for them to be okay with how they got there. Yeah. And I have realized that in this message that I got this morning, I was talking about showing grace. And so I want to be able to say today that I want to be better at showing grace. I want to be better at not allowing people to push my buttons. And there's very few people that can. And ultimately, at the end of the day, the ones that can push your buttons the most are the ones that you care the most about. And when you're hurt by someone that you care about and that you love, when you're hurt by that person, that causes you to strike out. And I'm guilty of it, and so many people are guilty of it. So I want to be better in regards to not allowing you to push my buttons. And when I say you, yes, I'm talking about her. When I say you, I'm saying to all the people in the world that are battling, and especially here during the holiday season, because that's the worst time in the world.
Yeah.
That I wish you all peace. I want you to find happiness in your life. And sometimes in life, and this was hard for me to get to, sometimes in life, you just have to see it for what it is.
Yeah.
You can't change it.
And you can't change people.
No, you can't change it. You can't make it be what you want it to be. And we all want situations to be serving for our purpose. And when things don't serve our purpose, then we get defensive and we say that's wrong, or this person did this person did that. So the reason I'm talking about that is because I've been asked so many times this week, when are you going to address certain things? When are you going to talk about this? And when are you going to talk about this? I'm not. I've talked about certain things long enough. There's only so many ways that you can say that isn't true. There's only so many ways you can say I didn't do that. There's only so many ways that you can say I'm sorry. And at some point you just get to the place to where you're good with where you are.
Just letting it go.
And just letting it go.
Yeah.
So I'm not...
Certain things you have to let go and know that one day you might revisit them, but right now it doesn't serve anyone to keep it going.
Right. And, and I think that you always are that person that is, everyone in the family looks at Julie as, the glass is always kind of half empty. But in regards to certain things about how to deal with emotions, you are probably better at that than what I am. Because you don't strike back.
Right.
Me and Savannah and Chase and Grayson, we're firing back at you. I want to be better at that. I want to be more Christ-like, maybe more Julie-like, in just that one instance, that one regard. I want to be more like that. I want to be able to say, now why did they do that? And then go on.
Kind of like how I have, for 30 years, been like,
yeah,
okay, Todd.
Mm-hmm. No, okay. I don't know if I want to do all that.
Okay.
Because that would just be total opposite of who I am. Because listen, I don't want people to get me confused because I'm saved.
I think you're getting weak and soft.
I am saved. I'm not soft. So just remember that I'm saved, not soft. But I think that for me, this message that I got this morning that was talking about grace and talking about being faithful, and faithful is not just being faithful to God's word. Faithful is also about being faithful to who you are.
Right. Being
faithful to you. Mm-hmm. And if you take care of you, you're going to be a much better, healthier person and be able to offer help to others.
Right.
And help them better.
Yeah. You can't give what you don't have.
You can't give what you don't have. And one of our dear friends, Sherry, has said for years, that you've got to feed yourself. Feed yourself spiritually, in the Word. And I love her dearly. And I used to look at her sometimes and I'd say, Sherry, snap out of it. There's not a time for this right now. Now is the time you cuss them out. And what would she do? She would not waver. Mm-mm. She got back in her Bible and she prayed. And so I do believe that if anyone is going to heaven, Sherry Thrift Bradshaw is going to clog her way into the gates of heaven.
Yes, she is.
And I hope that if she goes first, that she keeps that door cracked for me. Right. And then I'll try to pull her through. Mm-hmm. But I do want to be able to show more grace. Mm-hmm. And I want to be better. I don't want to be so confrontational about everything because I just don't feel at 57 that I need to be that confrontational anymore. Go do you. Do whatever you want to do. I'm going to do me. And if what I'm doing for me, you can that you can benefit from, that's great. That's a double blessing. If you're over here acting crazy and stupid, dating people I don't agree with, you signed up for that. That's your journey. And you're going to have to suffer the consequences of that journey. And when I say suffer the consequences, you might benefit from that journey.
Right.
I like to say that in my life, I have gone back and I've had such deep reflection over so many things that I thought were traumatic in my life and things that have happened to me and experiences and confrontations and what have you. And, I'd be so angry about this. I'm not angry about those things anymore because I have gone and found something that made me better in that situation. Right. And I do feel stronger as a man in his faith, as a father, as a husband. And God knows that I'm strong. I have been married a long time. And I've endured a lot.
You need to be practicing that grace.
I'm going to show some grace right now.
Yes.
To my beautiful wife. So I did want to kind of touch on those things. Then I wanted to let you know that I posted 2 workout videos.
We all know.
On my Instagram.
Yeah.
Because, Savannah seems to be bothered that I post my workout videos with her brother. Mm-hmm. So now I tag her in all of my posts. Not that I'm petty. I'm not. I just want to be inclusive.
Yeah, okay.
I want to be inclusive.
Okay. Well, folks, you can always keep up with Todd via Instagram and his workout videos.
There you go.
Yes,
there you go.
We're going to be ready to go when the new year comes because we have worked this up on everything that we're going to do to grow and be better for January.
Yes, and we're going to go. One of our trips that we're going to take in this upcoming year is to Amsterdam, where they have these sex workers in the...
Okay, Okay, we have reached the end. Well,
I was just going to tell them.
No, we're good. We're
just going to do it part-time.
We're good. We're good.
To let you know that all still works.
I want you to go and practice your grace for this week. Okay?
You're buying lunch.
Okay, folks.
That's showing grace, see? And then when the cameras go off, she's going to say, buy your own damn lunch.
So until next week, good luck.
And God bless.